Welcome, weary traveller. Do come in, put your feet up, relax by this fire, as I tell you of the tale of the not-so-great warrior, Goliath. Hello and welcome to Beer Lore, where I explore the stories, myths, objects or events that inspire the names that appear on all our beers. So today's beer is Goliath by Wychwood, so let's explore his story and see if it matches up to it. So, first off, who was Goliath? Well, Goliath was a minor character in the biblical book of 1 Samuel, who's only got a few verses attributed to him, but he's become part of culture, denoting something great, powerful, and usually massive in size. But why? Well, people love a good story, so let's tell his one now. So who was he? Goliath in the tale is a warrior of the Philistines who'd waged war against the newly founded kingdom of Israel. They had been causing Israel grief for absolutely ages, and at one point had even stole the Ark of the Covenant. The war had reached a stalemate, so the Philistines adopted a new tactic, the age-old champion challenge. Two men would fight to the death to decide who'd be the dominant power. The Philistines chose Goliath, a man who was 6 cubits and a span, or, in imperial measurements, 9 feet and 9 inches, or nearly 3 metres for my metric brethren. So he was a total giant of a man. A big unit, as they say in the north of the UK. They'd also decked him out in all of the best bronze armour and gave him a massive spear. For 40 days the giant came and challenged the Israelites, and nobody dared step up to the challenge. However, recently King Saul had employed a shepherd boy, a young chap called David, who would later become what theologians would describe as kind of a big deal. David had come under Saul's employment as an entertainer who could play the harp so well that an evil spirit that had taunted the king would leave him alone for a bit. Saul had also appointed this young man as his shield bearer. Now during this conflict, David had returned home for supplies, and upon his return to the front, talked to his brothers who were in the army. When Goliath came out and issued his challenge, it annoyed David that nobody would stand up to him, and his brothers even told him off for even suggesting that someone should go out and fight Goliath. David decided to volunteer himself to fight the giant and convince the king he could take him down, even though he was just a young man. Saul then equipped him with all his armour, but only being a young chap, none of it fit him. So, instead, David stuck with what he knew of combat. When he'd fought off predators, as his time as a shepherd, he'd use a sling, so he challenged Goliath with what he knew. Goliath, of course, laughed at this young teen with no armour and no sword and mocked him. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he yelled, before launching into his attack. He charged, and David, not even missing a beat, fired a stone into Goliath's forehead and killed him instantly. The Philistines were shocked, the Israelites emboldened, and they set about their enemies and routed them. And this underdog story then became one of the bases of all those underdog stories that would follow. So, how does this beer, named after this giant of a man, match up to the story? Well, the name Goliath itself has become kind of a meme in itself over time. It's used to describe a thing of great power or strength. Goliath of a corporation, a Goliath of a man, a Goliath of industry. You get the idea. So onto the beer itself. Now, the label itself does show a great warrior, covered in armour, much like his namesake, but his spear is strangely absent, and instead they've gone for a more Conan the Barbarian style with a mace, some swords, and for that extra cool factor, they've given him a pet wolf. The banners in the background show that this massive gent is part of an army, rather than a sole warrior, so that's a callback to his roots. The beer itself is subtitled A Beer to Slay a Mighty Thirst, much like the Great Warrior. But rather than going for a strong punchy beer of, say, 5 or 6% or above, this beer is situated in a nice, sessional 4.2%. Now, as you can see from my lovely footage, the beer itself is a golden colour, sits in the pale ale style, possibly even a golden ale. Taste-wise, it's slightly bitter, it has a smooth feel in the mouth, and it makes for some easy drinking. Not really strong flavours, almost a slight wheaty flavour in the background. Now, if I'm honest, with a name like Goliath, I'd expect it to have a really strong taste, and possibly be something like a porter or a stout, or be like 5-6%. But this isn't where Wychwood's taken this beer. But where it does match the Mig Band is in its tagline, being able to quash a mighty thirst. This beer is the sort of thing you could quaff like a mighty warrior, before or after battle. So certainly, It's a beer to celebrate the victory of getting through a shift at work. So there you have it. Good luck on your travels, good traveller. If you like this sort of thing and want to hear me waffle more about either theology, beer or that kind of thing, do hit subscribe or wallop the like button if you liked it. Until next time, though, weary travellers, grab yourself a drink and keep asking questions.